Alright, today I'm excited to bring you a video about wedges and specifically what wedges I have in my bag and kind of how I go through deciding what wedges to play. So we're going to be doing a two-part series. Today is going to be the wedge gapping and kind of the makeup of my set. And then next time we're going to go around the green and talk about how do I use these wedges and decide what to use based on the type of shots I like to hit. So let's start by talking about when you get fit, really what you should be looking at as far as your wedges. So you got to start with what's your most lofted iron. And so for me, that is a 9-iron. And my 9-iron goes about 145 to 150 yards. So that's kind of my starting point because the most important thing with wedge play is your yardage gapping. Am I getting expected yardage and do I have comfortable gaps? Like sometimes I'll have people who have 20 or 30 yard gaps at the end of their bag. And it just becomes very, very difficult to play golf because you feel like you're chipping a wedge or chipping a 9-iron or having to roast a gap wedge. So it's really important to make sure that those gaps, whether they're 10 yards or 15 yards, are very, very predictable. So for me, I start with my 9-iron and I work my way down. So if I have a 9-iron going 145, I would expect my pitching wedge to go about 130 to 135. So for me, I have been playing the wedge, the SM10 wedge now for a couple years. So this is a 46 degree F grind with 10 degrees of bounce, 1/2 inch long like all my wedges are, with this dynamic gold 105 wedge. I love the blacked out shaft. I had the chrome last time. I like this look a little better. Also the raw finish. I like when they get a little bit rusted. And so this is bent down to 45 degrees just to stretch out the yardage a little bit. So let's start with this one. And whenever you're getting fit, I would highly recommend that you're hitting good golf balls. Do not hit range balls, and you need to be hitting on TrackMan or something that can really, really tell how your yardage is going, how your spin's going, the launch angle, all those things. So I'll give you a little bit of insight into mine and post some of this TrackMan data as we do it. So here we go. I'm going to hit just a couple with each club, and then we'll talk about the results. So again, like I said, this should be in that 130 to 135 range. And if I hit it good, we'll just move on. All right, so ball speed's right at 100. Launch angle is 25, 24. That's a little high, but that went 136 yards. That's exactly where I would think. I need to be able to hit this like 125 to 130, so I might normally hit a couple like that. But in general, this feels pretty good, and I would feel comfortable just moving on to my 50. So let's go there next. My 50 degree is probably my favorite wedge, the gap wedge. And this is a 50 degree F grind again, a little bit less bounce at 8. But I tend to have this 115 to 120 yard shot all the time. So this club is really important for me. These are brand new, haven't even hit them. So really, really fun to kind of hit them in front of you. So I would expect this to launch a little higher, a little more spin, but go obviously less yardage. Like I said, this is a 1/2 inch long, standard lie angle. All right, let's see if we can get this to 120. I mean, that's a really good strike right at it. Of course, it's blowing a ton right now, like it always is down here in Dallas. Okay, so that was 116. Not alarmed. It was a couple yards short. But if I was hitting and that went 116, that would be totally fine with me. That's 12 feet short. No big deal. I can definitely stretch this to 120 if I want, so I will try. I think the main thing there is probably trying to hit a little bit lower, which I did. Yeah, launch angle was just a couple degrees lower. Ball speed went up a little bit. Yeah, 118. So everything so far is looking good. Whatever those gappings are, I would expect they need to show up in the data or something is wrong. Okay, my next club. This is my 56 degree bent down to a 55. Like I said earlier, I like 5 degree gaps. And so that is 56 down to 55. The reason I don't go from 54 to 55 and I go 56 to 55 is just how the club sits. I like it to feel like the leading edge is down a little bit versus rolled back. Helps me feel like I can dig into the ground a little bit better. So, yeah, that's kind of how I played it the last few times I've had this club. All right, let's go ahead and hit one. Now, how far should this go? I'd say in the mid 100s. If I hit it good, I can probably get it to 107. Yeah, and I hit that pretty good. Came out maybe a hair left, but pretty good. That's the main reason I have these clubs on the flat side, not upright. is I really don't like seeing my balls go too far left. And so if they're on the flat side, generally they're going to come out a little bit more right. I already kind of have a pull miss. That one was 103, launched a little high. Let's do another one. Nothing crazy. I wouldn't be too upset with that. I'm going to try to launch this one lower. That one definitely came out more right. I caught a little bit of a weird lie there. But launch was fine. And that went 107. So that was pretty darn close to what I would expect. Okay, let's move on to the lob wedge. And the lob wedge really is probably the most used club in my bag. I use it a lot for chipping, which we'll talk about in the next video. And then I use this club a ton, I feel like, when I play. Probably 4 to 6 times around from the fairway. On par 5s, I'm using it less than my full distance. But then I swear on a couple par 4s, I usually have to use this in that 80 to 90 yard range. So what I would be looking for here would be a low launch, you know, below 30 degrees, and then probably a carry around 90 yards. I don't really like to hit this much harder than that, and I don't want to have to try to kill it to get it to 90. Here we go, 90 yards. See if I can make this one come out a little low, and a little low draw would be nice. And you can kind of see there on my finish, that's about as hard as I hit this club. That seemed to be pretty close to what I would be looking for. Yeah, 88 yards. Let's do one more, and then we'll talk about what else I would be looking for with this club. Let's do one more. Again, I'm trying to hit kind of a flat draw from the inside there. Oh yeah, that one came out really good. Perfect yardage. That should be right on it. Yeah, 88.9. Again, we're looking for consistency. The fact that those two are going within a yard, that's exactly what I want to see. The launch angle was totally fine. Now, because I use this for my shots inside of 90, I would definitely hit a couple in the fitting just to make sure that you like kind of how those balls are coming out. This is where the bounce might be a little bit different depending on the lie, depending on the ground interaction you like. I have a tee grind because I really don't like the club sitting off the ground much. Down here in Texas, the ground is hard as rock most of the time, so I don't like when I have a lot of bounce and it feels like it's sitting off the ground. So I'm going to hit a 60 yarder, looking for that same kind of flat trajectory. Yeah, that was really, really good. That should be really close to 60. Yeah, 61 yards, good strike. Let's do one more there. And again, if you're in a fitting, I would be hitting a lot of different types of shots with this club because this is the most versatile club in your bag. This is one you're going to have to do a lot of things. Even hopping in the bunker would be a good idea just to see how it's interacting with the sand. Yeah, and that should be pretty good. That came out a little bit left, like I said. So hopefully you found that interesting as far as how I go about deciding my clubs, what my clubs look like, how I decide the bounce and the lofts and how that fits with my yardages. The main thing is have a plan when you go into a fitting. Make sure that you leave understanding your yardages and what these clubs are going to do. And then next week, I'm going to be dropping a video about what this looks like around the green as far as shot selection. And so stay tuned. If you like the video, please drop a comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next week around the green.